This group of astronauts is stuck on Mars waiting for their oxygen to run out, but they are about to discover a shocking secret, deep within a Martian cave. A team of astronauts is en route on the first manned mission to Mars. The team includes the captain Andrei Vishniak, Susana Sanchez, Herbert Sagan, Jenny Johnson, Fidel Rodrigo, and Luca Baglioni. Andrei speaks to a newscaster back on Earth and explains that they are currently in orbit around Mars in a space station and getting ready to descend on the red planet using their lander. As the lander enters Mars, something causes it to malfunction, and it lands on the surface with a terrible crash. After the crash, the crew gets up and assesses the situation. Herbert discovers that Andrei is passed out, and Jenny, who is a doctor, checks on him. She says he's broken his neck. He's dead. Next, the remaining crew gathers in one room, and they realize they are stuck in a tricky situation. Their lander is no longer in a condition to take them back to the space station, and a rescue mission from Earth will take at least 26 months to reach them. They speak to Lowell, a member of their team who was left behind on the space station, and he says that he will try to think of solutions for them as well. Susana is the second in command after Andrei, and the rest of the crew look to her for orders, but she says they have to be prepared to face the idea that they are going to die. Herbert refuses to accept that command and says that they have to start working on solutions. He says their mission now is to survive because they only have to stay alive until the rescue mission from Earth arrives. Luca says that it is impossible for them to stay alive that long in the lander because it doesn't have the resources. They have oxygen and water for hardly 1 year. They can use their recycler to extend that time, but then they would run out of power in a year. Susana gives every member of the crew tasks related to increasing their survival time. She asks Fidel to figure out why the lander malfunctioned and crashed. He says that software of the lander turned off for just a brief second during entry, and it messed up their trajectory. He also shows her that while entering, the lander's camera took some pictures of a valley and captured what appears to be fog, which is very curious. Next, Luca and Herbert prepare to go out and check on the fuel in the lander's engine. Jenny says she will also go out to dig a grave for Andrei. Luca is opposed to this and says they should use their time and energy to do productive work instead. Jenny says that they need keep their beliefs and the things that make them human intact now more than ever. But Luca says that religious beliefs and burials are based on superstitions, which won't help them here. Angered by his comment, Jenny simply asks Susana for permission to dig the grave, and she agrees. While Jenny, Herbert, and Luca bury Andrei, Fidel and Susana have a talk. Fidel says that he does not trust himself to keep calm and collected in this situation, and warns Susana in advance for any breakdowns he may have later. Jenny, Luca, and Herbert return, and Luca informs Susana that they don't have any fuel left in the lander's engine, which means that the contents of this little cabin are all they have to survive on. He says they are going to die. Herbert gets upset at Luca for spreading messages of doom. He wants them to keep trying to figure this out, but Luca's negativity is infectious. Susana speaks to Lowell, who is about to begin his journey back to Earth. He informs them that there is something strange hidden in the fog that the lander's camera captured. They look at the pictures closely and find that there are some maze-like structures hidden underneath the fog, which almost look like they are man-made. Luca says that they cannot concern themselves with this right now, as they have bigger problems. The entire crew has a meeting, where Luca informs them that all 5 of them cannot survive long enough in this cabin for a rescue mission to arrive. However, if it was just 2 people, they'd make it for several years. The entire crew understands what he is trying to say, and they are not happy about it. Herbert says that there is no need to jump to this conclusion so quickly, and they should exhaust all other options first. Luca says that the more time they spend contemplating, the more energy and resources they are using, reducing the chances for the 2 members who could survive. Jenny is appalled and asks Luca if he expects them to draw straws to see who dies. He says he doesn't know what to do, but he just knows these are the cold, hard facts. Susana says that she is a pilot, but this ship doesn't fly anymore, so her skills are useless. Fidel is an astrobiologist, which is equally as futile. Herbert is a geologist, so he wouldn't be much use either. However, Jenny is a doctor, and Luca is an engineer who knows how to keep this cabin running. so they are the two ideal candidates to survive. Susanna says the other three will go out for one final walk on the Martian surface. Susanna, Herbert, and Fidel suit up, take some oxygen canisters along, and head out. Luca says they should turn on their cameras and record the footage of their walk, because the images could be valuable to the scientists back on Earth. Jenny says it's nice of Luca to try and give meaning to their last hours, but Luca replies that he is not being sentimental. It's just a practical use of their final walk. Susanna, Herbert, and Fidel agree to turn on their cameras, and they decide to try to make it to the valley with the fog, which is a few hours' walk. Jenny and Luca look on as they begin their journey. After walking for a few hours, they arrive at the valley and see the fog with their own eyes. The drop is significant, which makes it difficult for them to reach the fog, but Herbert reminds them that the gravity on Mars is only a third of that on Earth, so they won't have a hard time descending into the valley. They continue. Fidel says that this is insanity. Why would they volunteer to come to this barren planet? Herbert says that they can't be insane because they all passed the psychological tests before being picked for the mission. Fidel admits that he lied on the test, and so does Luca, but Herbert says that he answered every question truthfully. Susanna reminds them that this footage might play on TV one day, so they should be careful what they admit here. Fidel says that he feels like he's watching all this on TV right now. He cannot come to terms with the fact that he is going to die in the next few hours when his oxygen runs out. As they continue their descent, Herbert talks about how his dad brought him fiction novels with Martian empires in them when he was a kid, and he dreamt of coming to Mars ever since. Then, Herbert sits down and informs the other two that this is the end of the road for him. His oxygen has run out. He says goodbye to the other two and takes his final breath while admiring the beauty of the moons of Mars. As Susanna and Fidel continue their journey, their audio and video stop transmitting back to the cabin, and Jenny and Luca can no longer see where they are going. They arrive at the bottom of the valley where the fog is, and Susanna spots a strange-looking cave. She and Fidel go inside to investigate it. Back at the cabin, an alarm goes off, and suddenly Luca looks very worried. Jenny asks what has happened, and Luca says that there is a leak in the cabin, and they are losing the atmosphere. Jenny says that she can find the leak and seal it, but Luca says it's too late. The pressure is dropping rapidly, and it's possible that the leak is even getting bigger. He says now there is nothing they can do. Jenny asks what he suggests, and Luca says that they should spend their final hours making each other feel good. Jenny is outraged that his suggestion is them dying having sex, and tells him off. It was worth a shot, bro. She says she is going to look for the leak and try to seal it, even if it means they won't survive, because she wants to die trying to survive. Meanwhile, Fidel and Susanna find what appear to be man-made markings on the walls of the cave, and they are both shocked and delighted. It is clear evidence of an ancient civilization. However, they worry that this evidence might die with them, as they are not transmitting back to the cabin anymore. After walking in the cave for a while, Susanna and Fidel come across a particular tunnel that lights up as they enter it. Fidel notices on his pressure gauge that the air pressure is almost normal in this tunnel. He decides to take the risk and takes off his glove. Nothing happens. He takes off his helmet and realizes there is breathable air in this tunnel. Susanna does that same. Both of them are stumped with regard to how this is possible. As they continue exploring the cave, Fidel enters a tunnel and suddenly grabs his head in pain and falls. Susanna goes after him, but she experiences the same sensation and comes back into the previous tunnel. Fidel manages to crawl back as well, but it is too late. He is bleeding from his eyes. It turns out that the other tunnel does not have air pressure and oxygen and is a complete vacuum. Fidel apologizes to Susanna and passes away, leaving her alone in the cave. Susanna grabs a camera and a torch and continues exploring the cave for hours on end. She discovers that the tunnels with no air in them are marked with a particular symbol. After a while, she reaches a tunnel where she finds charred old bodies of the life form that probably lived on Mars millions of years ago. She concludes that the technology operating to keep the air pressure and atmosphere going in the cave must have been made by these people. She reaches what appears to be the end of the cave. Back at the cabin, Jenny is outside looking for the leak when she suddenly gets a faint radio transmission from Susanna. Jenny and Luca try to make the signal clear, and after trying for a while, they establish communication. Susanna tells them that there is breathable air where she is, and Luca thinks that she has gone crazy. He says that she is probably hallucinating. However, he adds that they are going to die in the cabin anyway, so they should go after her. They track her location from the radio signal and set out on the journey. Jenny and Luca travel the same long route that Susanna, Fidel, and Herbert did and arrive at the cave. They go through the cave and arrive at the same opening that Susanna did. They come out right at the bottom of the valley where the fog was spotted and find Susanna there, standing without her helmet on, near a lake. They take their helmets off and realize there is breathable air there. They greet Susanna with a smile, and she tells them all about what she has discovered. The 3 remaining crew members now have access to water, air, and even some primitive life forms that can be hunted and eaten. They have all they need to survive until a rescue mission arrives. Susanna films her last video with her final camera batteries dying out and narrates that now they know for sure that life existed on Mars millions of years ago. She wonders what they were like, how did they feel, and why did they die, among other things. As they set up a fire and prepare to survive, a wide shot reveals that the maze-like structures they saw in the pictures taken by the lander earlier were actually city structures of the ancient Martian civilization. The end. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.